Fourth take, son. Fourth take. This has been wild. All right, man. We're back at it again. It's that You Heard podcast. What y'all don't know, this is the sixth time we've done this. Y'all don't know that part at all. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, we got a very special guest coming on right after this intro, man. It's A&M week, so we have to go big. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest fans we know. Gonna break it down this A&M week for us, man. It's that You Heard podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the You Heard podcast with your hosts, Ben, Joe, and CP. We're here to cover everything related to Miami Hurricanes football, from hot topics to pre- and post-game analysis.
All right, we'll talk about it at the end. We'll talk about it.
No, let's talk about that right now because you completely flipped it on me now.
I hate him for knowing this, bro. This man knew the brand, dog.
Okay, I don't appreciate that. I'm saying, like,
I mean, what did you say? What are we talking about, man?
Get into it. I feel
Keeping it a buck.
You heard?
Listen, man, y'all know how I do. You know what I'm saying? Co-host of the Buckets Pod on the Sixer Canes Network. Co-host that with Vish. It started right after the Final Four. We're about to be the Final Four again this year, man, because it's all Canes every day. Had to go for the number one fan we know, man. Right up there. This is a celebrity. This is one of the biggest guests you can get, man. 1/3 of the Avengers assembled pod with Locked On Canes. I'm saying with our guy CB and Donald. Ladies and gentlemen, Hoodie Girl in the building.
Clap it up. Clap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe with the slow clap, old man clap. What's going on, Hoodie Girl?
Nothing much. I'm excited to be on this pod. CB's my boy, so I'm glad that I finally got on his podcast with you guys and ready to talk some Canes football. It's a good time of year.
No doubt.
Yeah. So let's start it off real quick, man. How were you feeling after Friday night? It was weird to have a Friday night game.
Yeah.
It was weird to have a Friday night game. That traffic was no joke, trying to drive to the stadium at like 5:00 in the afternoon. I'm feeling better about the game after hearing Coach Dawson's press conference. I was a little worried about our offense, but he pretty much made it clear that like Miami, Ohio was basically just letting them run the ball. So he kind of adapted, and he's like, there's no reason to rush it and take shots downfield if we're getting 10 yards per carry. So the idea that he adapted to what they were doing, it's so refreshing. And like, I mean, he's so much more likable than Voldemort from last year.
Yeah, who shall not say? Who shall not see?
Shall not be named.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Were you all there? Were you all at the game?
I was there.
Yeah.
Somebody else was supposed to be there, but they didn't make it. I was there.
I like he doesn't refer to me by name when I couldn't make it because of work. He goes, somebody else. I'm just somebody else.
I was there. It was all good though. It was a great game. Great game experience.
I'm just happy we did what we were supposed to.
No doubt. So sitting in the, being there, being at the game, how did you feel the first game experience was? Were you surprised with the amount of fans, the lack of fans? What did you think?
I think it was a pretty decent turnout considering it was pouring, there was a lightning delay, and it was a Friday night. Like, I know I couldn't even tailgate because I had to wait for my friends to get off work. So, I mean, I didn't even get on the road till like 5:30. We stopped at like the Little Caesars down the street and picked up like a pizza and some cheesy bread, and then like tailgated in the parking lot for 10 minutes and then went in the game. Like I mean, people are like posting photos of what like them broadcasting before where like the stands were empty. And I'm like, it was in a lightning delay. Everyone's gotta hate. I thought it was popping considering, not a big named opponent, Friday night, the weather. I mean, I'm hoping we sell out this Saturday though.
Yeah,
it was that Notre Dame atmosphere from 2017.
Yeah, it was loud too, man. It wasn't silent. It was very loud. The music was going. The DJ had it going. It was popping in there. Yep.
that fourth quarter little like dance club right before the fourth quarter start, like they turn off the lights. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, people got into it. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. It was a good look, man. You know, I'm sad some people missed it. You know.
Okay, I know some people. All right,
Oh.
we're from somebody else to some people. I first of all, I don't appreciate the disrespect when I had to wait.
He just
45 minutes.
gaddished you.
Yeah, that's come on, hoodie girl. That was so that was cold blooded. Yeah, that was disrespectful. So I have like no comeback for that. I'm just gonna move on and act like it didn't happen. So what are you? So you said it was refreshing to hear Gaddis. Look at that. To hear Dawson just take accountability, right? That's what threw me off. Like in his press conference, I was like, oh my god, he's an adult. Like this is so strange. Just watching this. So is that what you got from it too? And Guidry?
Bro, I'm so excited for Guidry's defense. I feel like, I mean, I'm not trying to like hype up and be like, oh, we're back and all of these things. Let's face it, we're not back until we're holding the national championship trophy.
Mhm.
But just what I feel like he can do with the athletes that we have on our defense, I'm super excited about that. But just I even talked about it on Twitter too, like just listening to Dawson talk about how like they threw some sets at him that he wasn't expecting, so he changed some stuff and they didn't run certain plays that he had because of what they were showing him. And I'm just like, oh my god, he adapted. It wasn't just like, oh well, we're gonna stick to this plan no matter what. And I'm like, and it'd be like a run, pass, punt offense every single time. Like he adapted, he did what was working. And then even he said, he's like, you know, the Tyler Van Dyke interception, he's like, part of that was his fault because they kind of got anxious and they wanted to throw downfield a little bit. And he's like, oh, maybe that wasn't the right play to call, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my God, I love you.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, that's facts. Because like Twitter, you said you were on Twitter, and I see a lot of people talking about how many shots we didn't take, and you know, it was a boring win. A boring win. A boring win. Is that what you said?
A win is a win.
That's like people who are at work who don't have to do anything, and they're like, I'm bored. I need to do something. You're getting paid. Shut up and get paid and just finish your shift, man. Like a boring win. Yeah, he didn't have to take shots. The corners were playing 15 yards off, 2 safeties, 20 yards down the field. Like there's no reason.
Ohio never changed up and put people in the box. And so we used our 4-headed monster in the backfield. I mean, our run game, I mean, first of all, Mark Fletcher, like, we have him for 3 years at least. Like, whew, gosh. But we have so much talent in that backfield, and just watching our O-line block downfield oh man,
just blocking.
It's just watching a functional offensive line, and it's not going to show up in the stat sheet. But our old man Cam McCormick, bro, he does so much. Like no one's talking about him, and they should be talking about him.
Yeah. I named him one of my offensive stars on the last show, man. Cam McCormick did so much dirty work. And it was crazy. It was crazy, yes.
He's 27 years old and just manhandling these young kids, man.
Yeah. He has man strength.
Man. That's a grown man.
He probably has more degrees than I do, and he's 10 years younger than me. So kudos to him.
I hope he does.
And he had a lot less student loan debt than I do, that's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. It was like, back to what Joe said, it was so frustrating, the perspective of it, right? Where people are like, oh, we didn't throw the ball down the field. Fam, we ran for 400. We ran for like 250 yards with 4 different running backs. And you mad up. So you just, like, the changing of the goalpost argument that I saw the last couple of days was like, what are we doing? Like, when was the last time we just showed up and handled business against anybody? They didn't do it against Central Michigan last year. They didn't do it against App State the year before. This was not a team. This was a team we would one field goal away from losing a couple years ago. Like, this was a totally different team that showed up. But like, the changing of it was weird. Like, they're playing 10 to 15 yards off the ball, and we every all off season it was all just, we're gonna go vertical. So if that's all they hear, that's all they're gonna prepare for. And the fact that he adjusted, you're mad at it. Like, I didn't understand the perspective.
This could have been Middle Tennessee State all over again.
Yep.
It easily could have. Ohio's probably one of the best teams in that MAC conference. Like, I mean, we had a harder opponent than A&M did week 1. And the fact that Dawson was like, this is what they're giving me. I mean, obviously we kicked a few field goals. I would have liked to get the ball in the end zone, but listen, it's week 1. There's a lot of stuff. There's stuff that you're going to have to work on. And it's why I like that because we used to play FSU week 1 back in the day. I know when I went to UM, we were playing FSU week 1 every year and I hated it. Because there's kinks you want to work out. Like, I'd rather play them middle towards the end of the season where we're playing our best, hopefully. I like having a competitive G5 school to play in the first week. I think is a good matchup, and it helps you work out the kinks, and it gives Tyler another week to heal that index finger, and all the rumors about him having a prosthetic finger was hilarious.
That was funny. That was funny. I think Mario said it himself in the press conference. He's like, there was talk of him having a prosthetic finger. Joe, what you got?
The internet, I'm telling you, man.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely. So moving forward, man, we have a marquee opponent coming in. You know, I for one can't stand all the Texas A&M hype. I can't stand it because they've been just like us the past 20 years. So what do you think? How do you think this game shapes up? Out
and out. Out and out.
I think honestly, I think it's going to be an exciting game. I honestly think this could come down to whoever has the ball last. We're both teams are completely different from last year. They have a new offensive coordinator. We have 2 new coordinators. It's a different quarterback we're facing this year than we faced last year.
Much better quarterback.
Much better quarterback. They have some weapons at wide receiver, and I think Miami has also gotten better. I mean, honestly, last year, if you ask me, we should have beaten them. Like, if you look at the box score, everything shows we should have beaten them, but our red zone offense was atrocious, and then we had that muff punt, and it cost us the game. I mean, we were both terrible. Both teams were terrible last year, so it doesn't really matter. But I think a big part of it to me is how we guard, because they have 2 really good right receivers, Evan Stewart and then Noah, I forget his last name. Noah Thomas. So it'll be interesting to see what Petrino does with the offense, and everyone's talking about it is how our safeties, how Cam and James are, how they're going to play, and I think that their coverage over the top is going to be a big factor to the game. And then also I think I want to see Colby Young establish himself as our wide receiver 1 in this game. I think he started to do that in the Miami Ohio game, showing his physicality, showing his speed. I think this is the game where he shows like, hey, I'm the guy. And I think if he can do that, I think we can score a lot of points.
Yeah. I think we're definitely going to have some opportunities down the field this game, even though the Texas A&M D coordinator is like a traditional, cover 3 D coordinator. He runs a lot of cover 3. I think that's his base defense, but I think we're going to run into situations where we have the opportunity for one-on-ones and to go deep and to take shots. So I hope we get to see that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to play to our strength, and the strengths that we've showed so far is just running the ball.
Yeah. So
I definitely agree. I think there's going to be chances where we can take shots downfield, and we have to connect on that to keep them honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I watched the condensed game because I'm not going to watch the whole game, and even that I watched like half of it, just the first half, because the second half of that A&M game was pretty much over with. But defensively, they're not very disciplined. Like they over pursue gaps. Like New Mexico, that was a 2-10 football team, ran the ball pretty well against them, converted on 3rd and shorts. Like they got pushed off the ball for all the hype of their 5 stars and giving their 2nd string defensive lineman a press conference yesterday. You know what I mean? Like I was like, fam, you didn't do that. You didn't dominate as much as you think you did. It was a bad football team you played. Don't be talking all big. Like it was a little weird.
I saw that Shamar Stewart interview.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I'm like, what revenge are you talking about? Like, no, you don't matter in anything. Like, and never have. Just not you haven't. But the wide receivers looked good, but I didn't see any safety cover over the top. It was always one-on-one. So those safeties that we have aren't going to be getting sucked in watching Connor Weigman. Like they're going to play disciplined football.
I think it's Weigman. Yeah.
Wigman? What? It's one of those weird names. That
Wegman.
has...
I think it's Wegman.
Okay, we'll go Wegman. Okay,
I try to pronounce names properly. I don't want to disrespect the kids, but I think it's Wegman.
Connor. Let's go with Connor. Connor's
Connor.
CW.
CW. Yeah, he's good. He's athletic. Yeah, he's good. He's athletic, but I don't. Again, like, how do you evaluate or like know what they're going to do when they play the 2-10 football team? How do you watch that and go, okay, they're going to be good here? When, it's 2-10.
Yeah, as long as we remain disciplined, I think we're good. Yeah,
I think our dominance in the trenches on both sides of the ball is going to be real important too. Just because they have that talent at receiver, I'm hoping our D-line can get a good push and pressure the QB and force him to make errant throws and that way our coverage team doesn't kind of get hung out to dry. And then if our O-line can block like they did in the first game and we can establish the run game, then I think we're going to have those chances to take shots down the field.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed and what gave me a lot of positive vibes were that if you watch the games this weekend, there were a lot of sloppy games. I saw a lot of turnovers. I saw a lot of penalties. I saw a lot of just slop, really, especially last night. Duke and Clemson was sloppy, man. Texas, FSU and LSU. Oh, gosh. That was a pig.
The first half was sloppy and FSU, LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miami, we played relatively mistake-free football. Even the interception. Yeah.
The interception, honestly, if you go back and watch it, it was the right play. He threw it too late and then he hung it. If he had thrown it like a second sooner and really like slung it in there, that's the right play. The receiver was open. I think it was Jacoby George. He was open. Yeah. He just waited. He waited a split second too long, and then he kind of tried to float it in there, and that was the issue. But it was the right play. It took too long for him to throw it. So I'm not mad at it. And then we bounced back after that. So
absolutely. No fumbles. We did have 8 penalties and a couple of drive-killing penalties that upset me.
Yeah, that one holding call towards the end of that first half.
Yeah, definitely
was rough. And then we had quite a few false starts, but I think that's just some kinks, getting used to everything. And then the field was wet and everything. So those are things to work. Those are things we'll fix as the O-line kind of continues to get in their groove.
Joe.
Yeah. Definitely.
Good, Joe.
Yeah. So A&M again. Keys to the game for you, hoodie girl. What are the keys to the game?
My keys to the game, for me, the big thing is our secondary. It's covering their wide receivers, not biting on any play action, because their wide receivers are very talented and Wegman can make the throw, so we definitely need to pressure him. I think the biggest thing in this game is going to be our defense versus their offense. I think if our defense plays really well, I think we win the game, because I think our offense can do enough to win. But if we can handle their star receivers, I think we'll I think we can win it. And like I said, it's the safeties, making sure that they're there to help. Because we have a lot of corners. I don't know if we've established who our starting corners are going to be yet. We saw a lot of different corners on the field this last game. So I don't know who's going to start and what we're going to do, but their top 2 receivers are really talented. So I think James and Cam are going to be big factors in this game. And then, like I said, on the offensive side, I'm looking forward to seeing Colby establish himself as that dominant wide receiver 1.
Yeah. I think you're right on with that. I think we have one locked in corner, which is Devontae Brown. I think the other corner is going to fluctuate depending on what kind of defense we play. I think Evan Store's kind of a shorter, shiftier guy, so you're probably might see like a Jadeus Richard there, or maybe a Darryl Porter. But with Noah Thomas, I think that's going to be following around with Devontae Brown, just because he's the bigger. What is he, like 6'5", 6'6"? So
yeah, Devontae's a big dude.
Yeah, Devontae's a big guy, like 6'3", 6'4", so you got to put something on him. Because I saw the Noah Thomas was extending his arm the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Getting a little pass interference that he got away with on both of his touchdowns. I think he had 3 though. So 2 of his touchdowns he pushed off. The third one, not so much, because he was wide open. But yeah, I think that's
his first touchdown was an obvious push off.
double.
Like I watched that. I was like both arms extended. I was like, you know, I was like, you're not gonna call that? I mean, that's more obvious than the flag we took in 2002, and that shouldn't have been a flag. So
that should, because the ball was tipped. The ball was tipped. Don't bring me back to that PTSD.
I'm saying that first one was a pretty obvious offensive PI, and I was like, okay, they're letting that go.
Yeah. So the way we look at A&M on this podcast is we don't respect them. Like we just don't. I don't like Jimbo. I don't like Jimbo Fisher. I don't like Bobby Petrino. Just as a culture thing, I don't think they have it. Just because watching the defense and the O-line gave up a lot of pressure too against New Mexico, right? Like the O-line is big and strong and all this stuff. So it's like, so you put that with a Guidry, because Guidry really didn't rotate too many guys. I like the fact I talked about on the last part. I like the fact that he held LT accountable after that stupid penalty that gave him the 15-yarder. So he didn't put him back in. So that's when you start to see the change. And like they know this is a big game, and there's a lot of guys that are going to be gone next year into the draft. And this is one of those games that they'll show the film of. So they got to be ready to play.
Absolutely.
I think it's a big game just momentum wise. You're playing an SEC school. It's the second week. You know, we've got 2 teams after this before we get into ACC play that should be wins. So this is kind of the game this month that's going to say, oh, look, Miami means business, you know, and get that momentum going into ACC play. And honestly, the ACC is kind of wide open. I mean, FSU has kind of established themselves probably as a team to beat, honestly, after their win versus LSU and Clemson losing to Duke. Like, we need the momentum. I think it's wide open, and it's a matter of who's going to be that other team with a divisionless ACC. It's going to get fun.
Yeah, it's going to
be. Yeah, and especially with FSU beating LSU like they did, the recruiting part of it is going to be huge. We're going to have a lot of recruits in the building.
A lot of guys are going to be there.
A lot of recruits in the building, man. If we look bad. Or, you know, if we win, of course, but if we look bad and FSU looking the way they're looking, it's not going to be a good time, man. And then Dion.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good time, man.
That game was fun to watch, though.
It was.
I watched the whole Colorado TCU game. That game was a lot of fun to watch. But no, I'm not a fan of A&M either. So, I mean, half my family's from Texas. We were talking about this before the show. But I have a lot of family that went to Texas Tech. So, I mean, it's in my blood to hate A&M in general. And then, you know, Jimbo obviously was the FSU coach for a long time. So, I mean, I don't like them either. Respect-wise, I respect every team we play because I'm not trying to look bad talking crap and then we like lose or get blown out and whatever. But no, I don't like A&M at all.
I just don't trust coaches that wear visors. That's just I have a hard line. If you wear a visor, just wear a hat. You know what I'm saying? Just choose one. It's either a hat or just pick.
I don't respect coaches that don't laminate their play sheets.
Deep cut right there. You know. That's if you know.
You know what that's a call back to.
Yeah. You know. Leave that in the comments. We ain't even gonna talk about that one. All right, Hoodie Girl. What's your score prediction for this game?
So I think it's going to be a close game. And like I said, I think it's going to come down to possibly who has the ball last. But I can't pick against my Canes. So I'm gonna go with 27-24 Miami.
Okay.
Last second field goal.
Andy Borregales, bro, ice in his veins. And I will say for Miami, Ohio, I said 34-10. So I was pretty close. So we'll see where it rolls here, but I'm gonna go 27-24. Borregales gives us the win with a field goal.
That's dope. Joe, what you got? Okay. What you thinking? What you feeling?
I got 42-24 Miami, man.
Wow. Into the 40s.
42-24.
He's got a Notre Dame atmosphere.
The playbook opens up, man. The playbook opens up. A lot of mistakes on the Texas A&M side. We get our first turnovers on defense. We didn't have a turnover last game. We get our first couple of pick sixes. You know,
Who do you think?
So,
Who do you think gets the first pick six? What player?
I'm gonna go Najee Kelly. Najee Kelly.
You see him dropping in
Yeah.
coverage last
Yeah.
game?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to say
Yeah.
that hard body. Yeah, he wanted
Yeah, I wanted to say that. I'm gonna take that one. Yeah. That's
I think
No,
James
I'm
Williams does.
I'm gonna take Francisco Malinois. That dude's all over the field.
Yeah.
he's a monster. He's an
Bro,
absolute monster.
what a shout out to his little bro, because I'm sure that played a
Yeah,
big
thank
part in him coming to Miami, with Francis bringing him coming to Miami too. So
Yeah.
You know what's
man.
funny? Him and little bro, you could tell they've been hanging around the Miami players. They're starting to talk like Miami players and starting to use slang, and it's hilarious when they talk in interviews, man. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
it's a different culture. I mean, Francisco was playing at Washington State,
Right.
you know,
right.
they lived in Hawaii, so it's a whole other ball game down here. But
Yeah, I love it, man. You can hear that. You can hear the slang.
But man, you saying that we're gonna score in the 40s, man? That's some cojones. I like it.
And listen,
I got him just. I got him just
man.
under that. I got him 38-17. I got him 38-17. I think we didn't have to look. All we had to do was run the ball last week. So you don't know if you really think about it, we didn't rotate wide receivers. So if you look at our film, you're just going to see the same three till what Ray and Tyler Harrell got in late in the third, early in the fourth. So you don't really know what packages we could roll out when we rotate them in, because Dawson isn't going to just
package.
be like,
we didn't even bring in the speed. Yeah,
you saw the first half. You saw the same three receivers. That's it. You saw Isaiah Horton for 2 plays or 3, but Rasta got mad about that one, so that's on him. So I think I don't think people really know what this team's gonna be yet. So trying to extrapolate that out from one game, we don't like these guys. These guys want to show you. These are 2 G5 coaches that should have been in the P5 long ago that are going to show you why they should have been. I think the difference is them. I think the coordinators are just going to cook up a perfect game. No disrespect to A&M. But I just think A&M is going to fold. I just don't think they have the culture or the senior leadership on that team to show them who they are. And I just think 38-17 in that one. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think if we win this game, I think the win, everyone's going to be praising Guidry. I feel like his defense is a lot like in 2017, where we didn't necessarily have the best offense and our defense carried us. I feel like we can have an even better defense with him. Like, if you think about it, he beat Notre Dame with Marshall, and there's a lot more talent on this team. So I think if we get that win, I mean, I think it's going to be closer just because it's only week 2. So I hope that Joe's right, because that would be great if it was like 42 something. That would be amazing. But I think our defense is going to be the big reason why we win games this year.
Yeah, man, 100%. Listen, he got us off the field on 3rd down, man.
We didn't give up 3rd and longs. All these 3rd and longs that we kept giving up last year. I was just like, oh my God, we're getting off the field. I love it.
He said it in his press conference, Coach Guidry. He was like, we didn't give up 3rd and mediums. Like, they had a bunch of 35, 3rd and 6, 3 and 7, and they didn't get any of those. Like, they got some rare ones. So I was just like, I was watching the whole time I was watching the game. I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. Just do your job. Yeah. Holy shit, it can happen.
3 and out, man.
It can happen.
3 and out.
3 and out. Look,
thank you, amazing. Bama. Thank you, Bama, for taking Kevin Steele from us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because that would have been a terrible payout to have to give him money to fire him. Like, we had to. And thank you, Maryland, for taking the other guy. Oh,
I don't know that we would have fired Kevin Steele, though.
Yeah, if he wanted to stay. Yeah.
I don't know that we would have fired him. Gaddis was gone. Like,
yeah, I think that was a conversation that Mario goes, hey, listen, let's try to get you somewhere else, because we need to go a different way. Like, it wouldn't have been the firing, but it would have been like, hey, I'm cool if you find something else. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna hold you back, because I think Mario, he couldn't bring those guys back. All right, so Joe, you got anything else?
No, man. I appreciate you, hoodie.
I'm honored that you guys have me on the show. I love your guys' stuff. You know, me and CB we chit chat all the time. So I appreciate you having me on. Anytime, I'll come on anytime you want. Let me know. Love chatting it up.
No.
Next time I'm on, hopefully CB will be around and me and him can see who has the weirdest snacks.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely. Oh, hold on, wait a second.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
We can't just let you go with that. Hold on, wait a second. You got crazier snacks than CB.
I gotta make sure I'll have to break out some. I've seen some of the stuff that he breaks out and I'm intrigued, man. So like he had like the cinnamon Toast Crunch bugles or something, and I was like, bro, where do you get those? I was like, I need these in my life. So I was munching on some Lucky Charms before the show. That's not really weird though.
The stores he goes to don't care about human life or
I'm all for it. Honestly, I'm only drinking water today, but if you watch my pod, you know I'm usually drinking apple juice, but just some water today.
That's not terrible. That's not terrible.
I know he has those weird girly coffees. Like I don't know what that garbage is.
That's how you do it. See, listen, we're deeply concerned about CB's eating habits. It's the weirdest shit. He says
somebody check that boy's cholesterol.
Yeah, it's gotta be through the roof. It's like he'll read a lot of times. Like he'll read the stuff, the ingredients and the stuff. We can't even cut it. Yeah, we can't even put it in the show because it's so many. Fam, you can't spell or read any of those words. That's unhealthy.
It's like high fructose corn syrup, blah blah blah. Although I shouldn't talk. I just had Chick-fil-A before the show, which isn't the healthiest.
It's stuff that you find in charcoal and lighter fluid.
No, but I'm gonna need him to send me those cinnamon Toast Crunch bugles because that's my childhood in a nutshell. That's like that's some good stuff. I want to try those.
Yeah, those are the only ones. All right, Hoodie Girl, thank you so much for joining. Hey, look, you have an open invitation whenever you want to come back on. Thank you so much. And look, we're only going to do this for the big games. We're not going to have a guest picker for Bethune-Cookman and Temple. Big games only. I had to start it off right with Hoodie Girl, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, where are you sitting Saturday?
My seats are in section 350, all the way up in the nosebleeds, row 20. But I will be tailgating in Green Lot. So
Green Lot. Okay.
If you see me, come say hi. I had a few people come up to me at the Miami Ohio game and say hello, so that was pretty cool. I've never had that happen before. So shout out to to all the Hoodie Girl fans that I apparently have. So good stuff.
Yeah, you the one. You the one doing this. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy.
I will not be in a hoodie though on Saturday. It's gonna be way too hot.
Please don't.
Your girl's not trying to die of heat stroke. So
no, ain't no dehydration, no IV needed. None of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Green light. Okay.
Green light. We'll definitely catch you.
Yep.
All right.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And man, salute to Hoodie Girl, man.
Yeah.
Salute to Hoodie Girl, man. Stopping by the show. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna start one guest this season, that was gonna be the one, man. Yep. All right, let's get into this Kingsway ad, and we got a couple more things to talk about. Let's go.
Welcome to Kingsway. Family owned and operated since 2010, Kingsway has all the latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Yeah. Joe, when you stopping by Kingsway, man?
Every day from Thursday.
Just gonna show up, work an 8-hour shift, go home.
Just chill.
Hey Jeff, Brett, I'm here for my shift. Just checking in. Y'all need me to take anything with me?
We'll be there like Kramer, man. If anybody watched Seinfeld, man, Kramer was just at a job and he wasn't getting paid or nothing. He was just working, son. He wasn't getting paid or nothing. He was just going to work every day, man.
You know, I've never seen an episode of Seinfeld.
Yo, hilarious. So that is a hilarious show, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All
man.
right, so we touched on it lightly during during our guest. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hoodie Girl once again, stopping by the show, man. So coordinator interviews, man. What was your impression of, let's go with Coach Dawson first, as to what he said, you know what I'm saying, and what you found refreshing and what you know what I'm saying, just your overall thoughts about it, man. They did their
interviews. Yeah, man, he just chopped it up like a true offensive coordinator, a true coach, a true teacher. a true offensive mind, man. There was a lot said about the lack of shots down the field, especially when everybody was talking about all the shots we're going to take. But, this isn't a video game. This isn't Madden. You don't just throw the ball down the field when, the defense is in cover 3, the corners are off, the safeties are back. If you're getting 7 in the box, 6 in the box, you run the ball.
Yeah.
You throw screens, you throw hitches, throw quick slants, you throw quick outs. That's what you do. You get the ball to your playmakers quick so they can make people miss and get first downs. And that's what we did. And I appreciate that from him because that just makes sense. Like, listen, man, with all the evolution in football, it's still football, man. You still got to do things that make sense. He took the blame for TVD's pick. He said he got greedy and he shouldn't have called that play. So I just enjoy the fact that he adjusted and that he took what he was given. I enjoyed that. That's refreshing to me because I'm a logical person and that makes sense to me. So
yeah, and I'm right there with you. Like when we talk about like doing deep dives and having like conversations that are interesting, like this is one of those that I found was like when he gave that little nugget of when TVD made that mistake, the energy and the support he got was dope. Obviously he didn't say dope; those are my words, but he's like, "Yo, this is," I'm saying, it was cool to see the players lifting them up. They all said the right things, and I think I don't know if it's a point, like a talking point for the staff or what, because those are the little nuggets you get when they start speaking about the culture, right? Because I think for me that's been the last 20 years that's been the biggest issue, right? When a bad thing happens, you fold. You know what I'm saying? Like when that pick happened, we've seen it too many times when that next 1 or 2 plays might be a touchdown. Then all of a sudden, the team that don't belong on the field with you is feeling themselves. They start jumping around. You start, fading back a little bit. Like, nah, man, everybody was there, positive, so on and so forth. Yeah, just the maturity of, and I can't say maturity because he's a grown ass man in Coach Dawson. But yeah, I just appreciated just him taking the responsibility and saying, "Look, I'm just gonna take what they give me." And it was like, and the thing is, like, we dominate. We were, was it 243 passing yards, 242 rushing yards, balanced as fuck. But I don't know when the last time that happened was. Y'all could let me know in the comments when we were that balanced. And just one mistake, one missed tackle. Like I don't understand what more people want in the moving of goalposts. But we'll get into that here in a little bit. And as far as Coach Guidry, man, what did you think about his rotations and the way he called the game?
Oh man, I'm a big Coach Guidry fan, man. I just think he's the perfect coordinator for a Miami Hurricane defense. He's gonna send pressure. He's gonna demand a lot from his team, his defense, his unit. He's gonna put people in the right positions to make plays, man. He has Najee Kelly, one of the most athletic edges we have, and he's dropping them. He's using them in different ways. He got Wes blitzing. He got Kiko all over the place. Like, I like the way he just uses what he has. And Saturday is going to be a good test. I'm anxious to see what he comes up with, for Saturday.
What did you follow up on that one? What did you see from A&M if you watched like the condensed game or however you viewed them? What did you see from them on offense that gave you some cause? I'm saying some possibly like, okay, this is something that they clearly do well outside of like the receivers, because that's one of those that it's obvious.
Well, yeah, the quarterback is better. Quarterbacks are going to win you games, man. And the quarterback is better. He's much better than what we saw last year. I think the O line is average.
Yeah, I don't think it was that good.
The running game is average. The receivers are talented, but the quarterback is better. CW is better than what we saw. So he's more athletic. He's able to escape when need be. He throws a better ball. He's more accurate. He has better, I think he has better command of the offense. So that's the challenge right there because the quarterback is better. That's the main thing. When you have a quarterback that can handle the offense, handle the pressure, won't fold,
It's
then
competitive.
you have a chance. Yeah, you have a chance.
Yeah.
So that's what I worry about.
Yeah, no, 100% the quarterback is, but I think you're right about the O-line. I was surprised in the plays that I saw. I was surprised how much penetration New Mexico got on that offensive line. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was a little bit more surprised. That's the things that stood out to me because I watched the trenches first. I saw New Mexico get push on their O-line. I didn't see that push when honestly I didn't think you trying to make a statement. You want to push them off the ball. You know what I mean? And just kind of dominate them and get up out of there. The fact that they had to resort to going in the air so much, you know what I mean, and going those chunk plays when they clearly have the advantage. Like I think that speaks to the weakness on the offensive line because I can't imagine that New Mexico has the talent to be able to get the penetration that they did. You know what I mean? Because they showed it in the secondary for real. Like they showed it in the secondary that they don't have the talent there. No disrespect to New Mexico. Shout out to our guy Brick by Brick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, their quarterback is better. Obviously, the receivers are monsters. I think the O line is going to have. I'm not gonna try to sit here and lie and be like, oh, we're gonna dominate this shit. But like, if New Mexico got penetration, I'll be very upset if Miami doesn't get better penetration than that and get to the quarterback. Because you gotta shake him. You gotta because he's a better quarterback,
Well,
right? Like 5-star guy.
Yeah, I think they'll do. I think they'll do stuff to get the ball out quicker. They're not gonna do the same. Like when a team like New Mexico comes in, you can try stuff. You know what I mean? You can try different things. I think they'll have a better game plan and a better way to protect the quarterback, knowing their offensive line is maybe not as strong as it should be. So yeah, I don't think it'll be the same. But yeah, we'll see.
So we gave our predictions earlier with Hoodie Girl. What puts you at 40? Was it 42-24? Was your prediction? What gave you that confidence going into the game?
Well, part of it is just because I don't like them. So that's part of it. That's a small percentage of it. But like I said, I think the discipline part of it. I think they'll turn the ball over a couple of times and put us on short fields or we'll score. I think we'll win the field position battle. You know what I mean? I think we'll have our share of short field and we'll be able to score like quicker. So that's why I think, 40 plus points is definitely doable. I think we're going to have opportunities to open up. I think we're going to have opportunities to use the speed we have and get down the field. So, yeah.
I think one of the things to quote myself, if anything, you know what I'm saying, I think the lack of rotation in the wide receivers, I think it was a plan, right? Because that way, that's all they, and we talked about it earlier, that's all they have on film, right? They didn't really run Tyler Harrell. Didn't really run, you know what I'm saying? Didn't really run Shimmy out there. Gave Ray a little bit, but not too much. I think you have the ability to draw up different things with them, and different players run routes different ways, right? So if you're watching the way Jacoby runs one, it might be different than the way Shamar runs one. So that could keep their defense. One thing that stood out to me, man, where I gave the 38-17 prediction was because for the team that's supposedly more talented, right? Has all the 5 stars in the world, number 1 recruiting class of all time last year, yada yada yada. I didn't see the domination that I thought I should have seen. Right? I saw their D line be undisciplined. Shout out to Flo. He said that yesterday, which made me want to watch the game, watch the highlights again. And they crash into the same hole. They're leaving the backside open. The linebackers, I didn't see much play from them that like really stood out. So I'm not exactly sure what they have there. And if it's another game that is dominated by the run game against this team, like we really got something. You know what I mean? And I think you dominate the run game. Let's say you have 150 yards at 130 to 150 yards at half running the ball. That play action game is going to be crazy. And then you take 3 or 4 deep shots. Like how many? Because a lot of people are like, oh, we didn't go vertical. We didn't go vertical. Like how many do you just want to go vertical for the sake of being vertical? You know what I'm saying? Or are you going to take what the defense gives you and dominate? So you got to figure out which one's which one. So that's what it is for me. Like I want the trenches to dominate, and I think the O line is going to be one game better. They're going to know each other. And I want to see less penalties, fam. Like they had 8. I want to see at most if penalties are going to happen, right? Miscues are going to happen. I want to see 3 to 4. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be small ones. It can't be like big. You know, I don't want to see unsportsmanlike conduct, anything crazy. Something procedural happens second game, but nothing crazy, man.
Yeah. And keep it a buck, like not saying we played perfectly, you know what I mean? I'm not saying on defense. I saw a lot, like on defense, we were fast and we were running to the ball, but I saw a lot of times where we, gave up contain, and if they had somebody who can threaten that, it would have been a problem. I saw sometimes we had problems in the slot with the slot receiver, covering him.
Larvadan, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely left, some things to be desired, but we'll get that cleaned up hopefully, and perform at a high level.
Yeah, and the coaches already talked about it. They already went back and watched film on their mistakes. Like I told y'all before the season started, man, they're not just evaluating during practices. They're evaluating during games, play to play, seeing what works. So it's gonna be something, man. All right, man. I got nothing else for y'all. You got something, Joe?
Yo, man. Let's show up and show out, man. Let's show up and show out, son. Yeah. I'm ready. Like this. Like what's tomorrow? Well, Thursday. Yeah. I'm getting hyped. When it is. Today's Thursday. I'm getting hyped. Yeah. Son.
Today's good, man.
I'm getting hyped, man. So I wasn't hyped last game. I was like, let's get it.
I wasn't.
Let's see what's popping. This game.
Last game was very much so. Let's just turn the page. Now I'm getting that like, okay, football is here. Football. This is the game that I'm like, I'm gonna talk my shit. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you wear your orange, man. Get right. Yeah. It's an orange out. We're gonna be in the building. You see us say what's up, man. You know what I'm saying? Chop it up. You know what I'm saying? We love the engagement and all that, man. Hey man, you heard what we talk about, man. It's that You Heard podcast, man. We up out of here. Peace.